too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize. Thought we had a little bit longer there with the warm-up session. They might have advanced it early on us. Either way, we're here to start the race, the Richmond 250, here with the Icon Cup Series. Going to be a great race. With me, as always, is Alan Bergen. Alan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Look, it's the home race for you, Shane. 250 laps, and what I always say when we come to short tracks, bent sheet metal and hurt feelings is on the docket here tonight. But nonetheless, Shane, we got a playoff to get started here as 16 drivers locked in the points are on the grid here tonight. And we're getting ready to go grid here just in moments time.
Yeah, this is going to be a phenomenal race. I think if the IRL race gives us any hint of how exciting it's going to be, we're in for a good one. As we get rolling, here's our starting grid. Jacob Smith on pole, Braxton Weiss going to start outside on the front row, Bentley Glazer and Adam Ball in row 2. That's going to be Cody Neal and Nate Finnegan, row 3. Mike Taylor and Jonathan Duncan are row 4. Ryan Patty and Patrick Colby, 9th and 10th. Kyle Gilbert and Jake Champion in row 6. Kevin Gunther and Jeff Dillon, row 7. John McNeil and Charlie Woods, P15 and 16 there on row 8. Kyle Purcell and Brad Delph in row 9. Charlie Widener and Sean Purcell in row 10. Charles Van Schaik and Anthony Tizio, row 11. Matt Everett and Hanover Fist going to be row 12. And then Brian Smith and Jacob Gladelich there in row 13. We'll be curious to see what that 78 car can do so far in the back. Kyle Diaz and Cody Eldred going to start in row 14. And then there is Robert Blue. It actually looks like Gladelich did not start the race, so we'll have to check in with him in a minute. But we are going green as that pace car hits down pit road. We are racing here at Richmond. Again, apologies for the late start. We thought we had a little more time. They might have advanced the session early on us, or I just didn't have my clock set right. But it's going to be Jacob Smith out front right away, using that pole position to get a great start here. But Braxton DeWeese on the outside, not going to let him get away too easy.
Yeah, definitely 250 laps here. Jacob Smith, doing what Jacob Smith probably done just as well as Brian all season. We have got to be careful. Be on our games here. Don't get too out of sorts. Don't drive above our ability here at the beginning of this race. But nonetheless, here we are. So far, so clean through lap number 3. No one's going to be able to take it through wide.
Oh, there goes the
no.
Michael Taylor.
Michael Taylor
goes around. And if I had to pick one trouble spot that's going to be catching drivers all night, it's going to be the exit of turn 2. The car is both loose and tight on this turn exit. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's really challenging, especially on colder tires. You just are so tempted to mash the gas. So we're going to go back and see what happened to Mike Taylor here. It just looks like he got loose. Let's try that from a different angle. I didn't see any contact. Yeah, he's just loose on his own, then collects that Alabama car. I believe that's Cody Eldred. But hopefully not too much damage for anyone involved in that one.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's A-okay. But nonetheless, kind of scary whenever you are facing the wrong end of the field here. Especially on lap number 5. Yeah, I believe it happened on lap 3. So.
Well, we've got our first caution. Let's go back and take a look at, you mentioned it, Alan, the point standings. This is the first race of the playoffs here at Richmond. And the drivers that locked themselves in were the top 16 drivers this season. But right away, you start to notice there are 4 drivers below the cut line for the next round. That's Patrick Colby, Kyle Purcell, Zach Lockett, and Jonathan Duncan. They're going to be looking for a good run and either some good stage points or knowing they just need to get a win to stamp their ticket into this next round. And last week, we were at Watkins Glen. It was Brian Smith, Michael Taylor, and Jacob Smith, a Buddy Motorsports podium sweep. And they closed out the regular season, showing everybody what that team is about. We know they're going to be starting here, looking to get to the front. We mentioned, I think Brian Smith was not starting near the front tonight. He's in 20th now, up 5 positions from the start. But 20th at Richmond is a lot of cars to pass.
You said it.
But yeah, Alan mentioned it. This is my home track, about 5 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. Could hear the cars roaring while I was watching the race in my backyard last night. Pretty exciting. Usually used to have season tickets before I had so many kids. So now we make it every so often. Wasn't able to make it this year because we were doing some home renovations, trying to get my daughter's new bedroom set up for kindergarten that starts tomorrow. Oh, happy to say everything is painted, dry, and done. We are ready to hit kindergarten tomorrow, and so I am excited to be here watching this race with you, Alan. I think Richmond just has it all. Fuel mileage, tire strategy, short track bumping and grinding. This is the good stuff as that pace car comes off. We're going to go racing for the second time tonight. Coming through that restart zone. And there he is, Jacob Smith with a great jump on the line there. Braxton DeWeese going to file into P2 again. And then it's 2x2 behind him.
2x2 off of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. And they're all going to play nice. And the other spot that I had trouble with here all week is off turn number 4 on his drivable. That's going to get that car really upset. You got to watch out going below the yellow line. These tires do not like that. And honestly, you know, I did a lot of open setup racing. And, you know, here's my take on it is put that neutral setup in it because the car's already going to go tight once the sun goes down here.
And we saw that 8 car take a shot to the outside of our leader last lap. Couldn't get there, so now he's looking inside. Oh. That's Braxton DeWeese fighting with Jacob Smith. And the other thing I love about a Richmond race, Alan, is when they do it on Saturday night like this, you start in the sun. It really isn't evening. It is hot. at race start time, and then you go into the night. So it's about 6:30 sim time right now. But we are not going to be seeing any sun by the end of this thing. We'll be racing under the lights most likely. And the track will change on you. And with a fixed setup like this, you kind of, all you have to use is your driving style and your brake bias. And maybe a 2-tire stop to try and help the car turn if that's what you need. These two continuing to battle. Oh, some contact there as the 8. Letting the 4 know what he thinks of him. And that's going to open the door for Nathan Finnegan down low.
They are Goodyear to Goodyear coming through turns 3 and 4 to 3 wide. Right now we got a dynamite battle here going on, but Braxton DeWeese prevailing as the victor of this one. And here comes Nathan Finnegan in that 6th car.
Yeah, it just has a feeling that that Jacob isn't finished getting a little payback here, and there it is. Telling the 8 what he thinks of him. Did not appreciate that bump, and I'm not sure they're done yet, Alan. Oh, and there it is. He turns him. Second caution of the night. Braxton DeWeese hard into the outside wall. Smoke rolling out of the hood of that 8 Mustang. That's going to be a problem for Braxton. Well, we go back and take a look. The lap or two leading up to that one. Right on the rear bumper of Braxton DeWeese. You just see nothing but Jacob Smith there. And I believe they were 3 wide or close to it as well. This field really lucky that nobody else was caught up in that one. Here it is again from up high. Yeah, I don't know. We try not to be judge or jury here in the booth, but that one is going to be hard to defend if you're the 4 car. You still with us there, Alan? I haven't heard you talk in a few minutes. I think Alan might have had a power outage or something, so we'll keep it here with me for now. We'll see if Alan can get back in the booth. But yeah, that's our second caution of the night. That leaves Nathan Finnegan out front with 2 contenders. Nowhere near that top 3 where they were just battling. Jacob Smith looks like he pitted there to check on his car. He's all the way back in 24th. Braxton DeWeese in the pits, doing what he can here. So again, playoffs getting started here for the Icon Cup Series at Richmond. First race in the first round. So we take a look at the schedule. The other races in this round are going to be Daytona and Darlington. I mean, I'm not sure I could pick 3 more action-packed tracks to cram into a single round of the playoffs, but Richmond's, Daytona, and Darlington going to be a great one next week and the week after. And that Darlington race going to be on Monday night, as it is Labor Day weekend. I hope everyone has a chance to enjoy the holiday, and then we'll be back Monday night. And we're back racing right now. Coming out of turn 4, Nathan Finnegan and Adam Ball take the green flag. Now we've got Cody Neal and Bentley Glazer joining the fun, as well as the 30 of Ryan Patty, going to be your top 5 here on lap 19. Tight racing there between the 87 and 30 car. Now we're watching Jake Champion battling with Kyle Purcell. This is a battle for 8th. Somebody in the wall back there, a little bit of smoke, but all moving fine. Looks like Jonathan Duncan and Bentley Glazer are battling for 5th. You see there, Patty gives the 38 of Neil a little tap to help him get into the corner, I assume. We're now 20-some laps in here. We're going to take a look at our biggest gainers and movers of the night. Brian Smith up 13 positions. He's in 12th. Kyle Purcell up 8 positions into the top 10. And then Kyle Diaz, Ryan Patty, and Nathan Finnegan all moving forward at least 5 positions from when this thing started. Braxton Deweese still on pit road, making those repairs. Duncan and Glazer continue to battle. And Richmond's one of those tracks where it just seems like you run into the same people over and over. Even if you do pass them now, you just run into them on the next pit cycle. But Duncan going to pull ahead for now. That 13 car going to take away 5th place. As Gunther and Smith are battling for 11th. Talked about Brian. He comes into the playoffs as the points leader. Should feel pretty comfortable, but you know, we just saw Braxton Deweese have a huge points implication incident there early in this race. So everybody got to be careful here. You can't win the playoffs, and you can clinch your way in the next round with a win. But other than that, this is all risk. You do not want to set yourself up for a must win at Daytona and Darlington. A lot of the drivers getting spaced out here. Single file, but Mike Taylor and Jacob Smith are battling. 2 drivers involved in early incidents. And that is a battle for 17th. We still got 27 cars, or make that 26 cars on the track. And all of the ones on the track are on the lead lap still. Cody Eldred, another car that has headed to the pits for an extended stay. Did not see what happened to that 32 car. I know maybe he was the one. No, that was a different car involved in that early spin. But out front, it's Nathan Finnegan starting to build just a little bit of a buffer back to second. Adam Ball on the 19 is running second. Cody Neal third. Drivers battling every lap here. As we said, the stage lap is going to be 50, so we're already over halfway through this first stage. The laps tick by real quick here in the River City. Stage 2 going to be at lap 140. But the fuel window is somewhere between 70 and 80 laps, depending on how many cautions you catch and whether or not you're actively trying to save a little fuel. Oh, as we see drivers avoiding something just ahead of them here. Let's go back and take a look at that. What exactly was going on there on the backstretch heading into 3? Saw a couple drivers check up and go down low, almost like they were expecting a caution. Might have just been Jeff Dillon slow and other drivers reacting to it. Take a look one more time, see if we can figure out what that was. Then we'll jump back live as Nathan Finnegan continues to lead. Oh, yeah. It almost looked like Dylan ran out of... like his engine turned off there temporarily, or a technical issue on his rig, but he's still moving. Didn't even lose any spots, but looked like he hadn't made a couple drivers check up there in reaction to it. So it's Nate Finnegan out front, and now Ryan Patty making his way up to second. But he's going to have to fight Adam Ball for a couple more corners to get it done. And this track is a classic, kind of the lowest line is great. The highest line is great. Everything in the middle, I don't know how I feel about it, but takes me back to, I believe it was 2006, 2007. Kyle Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. had about a 50-lap battle side by side, and Jr. was able to come away with the victory. And that's kind of what we're seeing here is Patty and Ball. No driver can quite get the advantage they need. And just as I say that, Patty drives underneath the 19 and takes it. .19 now under fire from Duncan. Might have been a little bit of contact there between those two. As we get now deeper into the run, tire is going to be a bigger deal as Duncan slaps the wall. The drivers who are able to take care of their tires, I think specifically that right rear, they're going to be the ones that can make their way around at the end of a run. As it looks like Widener might be having an issue. We're going to have a 3-wide battle here as Brian Smith is looking low on Jake Champion and Kyle Gilbert. If Smith can get around these two, he's going to be up to 6th position. And this battle bringing a couple more cars into it. As Gilbert and Smith are still side by side. Jake Champion chasing behind them, and then there's another side-by-side battle. That's Cody Neal and Kyle Purcell. And we saw Neal a lot further towards the front earlier here in the stage. He has dropped all the way back to 9th. And Kyle working it on the outside. Looks like he's got a fresh paint scheme of sponsored by Fruit Snacks, the cat. Looking sharp. Now just 8 laps remain here in stage 1. Nathan Finnegan continuing to build that lead out. He's now got over a second lead here at Richmond, which is a pretty big gap if you don't have a tire differential to work with. As Glazer and Ball are fighting over 4th position. Glazer trying to find a way around that 19 car here before the stage is up. We're still 3 wide here, back with Gilbert as well. Battles all around the track. Cody Neal going inside that 227. Some great racing here for 8th. Gunther now looking inside of Kyle Purcell in the 01. just feels so far that high line just has a little bit too much momentum on exit. Oh, as Gilbert gets sideways. Saves it. Gunther looking to pounce on Gilbert as he lost some speed down the backstretch. Working to get there. This is the closest battle on the track right now. Another one going on just behind them. Mike Taylor and Brad Delph. They're both chasing Jeff Dillon in the 52. I've been pretty impressed. We've been 2 and 3 wide for most of the race so far. And other than that contact between the 8 and the 4, it's been pretty clean and courteous. But now Finnegan has doubled his lead since we last checked in with him just 5 laps ago. Now 2.5 seconds over second place, who is Ryan Patty. And they're on the move here as we are on lap 50. This should be stage here when Finnegan comes back around. And there he goes out of 4. 50 laps in the books. And there you have it. Stage caution is out. Going to be Finnegan, Patty, Duncan, Smith, Ball, Glazer, Neal, Champion, Purcell, and Gunther all picking up points. It looked like maybe Champion had an issue there. It looks fine to me. Might have just grabbed the wall. All right. And with that, we are going to step away for a quick commercial break. Pay the bills, as some folks like to say. We'll be right back at the beginning of Stage 2 with the Icon Cup Series at Richmond. back to the SRM broadcast of the Icon Cup Series here in the Richmond 250. We just wrapped up stage 1. Nathan Finnegan took that stage victory, going to get those bonus points here in the playoffs. And he's going to lead us back to green ahead of Jonathan Duncan. And look out, Brian Smith in the 78. He's now in the top 3 as he gets around to Adam Ball.
We knew it wasn't going to take much for Brian Smith to get up there. But here we are at lap 57. And I got to tell you this right now. This is like my weekend rage, right? If you have Spectrum Internet, cancel them because they are garbage.
Ooh, Adam Ball
back to you.
With an issue now even worse. Ooh, multiple cars caught up in a huge collision.
It almost looks like the car stalled out.
Well, I think he got loose coming out of 2 and then didn't have a chance to get it all the way collected. As we ride along here with Adam Ball. A little bit further, he just gets loose there. And then as he checks up, oh, Gilbert gets loose trying to avoid him. Puts him in. Just, oh, everybody getting caught up in that one there at the tail of the field.
What is that, an I-95 that rolls through Richmond?
It is 95 and 64. I think they're.
Well, there's a pileup.
Yeah, that was a big one. We check again on. Yeah, Adam Ball had gotten it collected up and tried to get low, and then Gilbert, I think, just got a, you get spooked when you see a slow car. It kind of messes up your braking point, your entry. And as he saves it, he comes down and smacks the 19 down into the pit wall even. Entry to pit road is just a couple feet in front of that. And then he comes back up as Dylan, Taylor, Diaz, Jacob Smith. I think he avoids it there. But Taylor and McNeil, Diaz, Sean Purcell gets it there. Why don't we go back and ride along with Sean here? He saw a lot of it. Smoke as it all gets started, and then, I mean, you just have no idea who's wrecking and where you need to go. He actually made it through pretty clean there. Out of Rockford, Illinois.
The Rockford Rocket.
So, Sean Purcell now up to 15th. That's 5 positions gained on the night. And again, our biggest gainer could be Brian Smith. Now up to 3rd. That's 22 positions gained. So having the drive he needed to get into contention quick to not only, look for the win, but try to get some stage points too. A lot of these drivers that made the playoffs, so we take a look at it again, like Brian Smith, Nathan Finnegan, they won so many races this season that they probably haven't thought about points or stage points much in the last, 20 weeks. But now that becomes the most important thing. You got to get every point you can. Just 3 races to go with Daytona and Darlington coming after this. You can't even guarantee you're going to finish there, as we are now back green flag racing again. Brian Smith in 4th here. In the field getting side by side and spread out 2 by 2. Oh, as Glazer locks it up on the entry to 3. Stays out of Champion there to his outside. That might have been a race-saving move for the 87.
Well, here comes the 38 car. He's right underneath them. That's Cody Neal out of Buddy Motorsports.
There goes Champion into the inside wall.
And that's another caution.
Still running, though. 5th caution of the night. Go back and Take a look at that one.
That royal purple car just has him real hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like about 90% of the wrecks tonight have been solo spins off of turn 2. Just like I said, I think that's going to be the problem spot. The other thing that comes into play, we might have to go back and jump on board here, is that this time of day, the sun gets right in your eyes. I'm not sure it's quite low enough to be a big issue, but it's basically as you go down the backstretch into turn 3, you're staring into the sun. It only gets worse as that sunset gets closer to the horizon. Not sure if it contributed there. I can tell you from experience, did get a chance to go to the track last year for a charity event and drive my Chevy Cruze around the track.
That's got to be cool.
We weren't breaking any track records or anything. They had a pace car out keeping us in check, but it was fantastic. Took the kids with me. They loved it. But I can tell you from experience that sun coming down the backstretch will take your vision right out, right when you need it most.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Had you not had the kids, would that cruiser been seeing some miles per hour that normally doesn't see?
Well, like I said, they had a pace car out, so kind of the way they would do it is we staged on pit road 10 cars at a time, and then the pace car would go out and everybody would follow each other. So there was people in the back were trying to slow down just so that they could gun it a little bit. But I think we were supposed to be doing 55. I think we got to about 75, which...
Oh, Shane can't drive to 55.
I mean, it was... And it felt... I mean, it felt like the car was on the edge of spinning out just at that. So these drivers are doing almost 100 miles more than that. More than what we were doing. So definitely gave you an appreciation. But yeah, I think I've probably been to a Richmond race about 20 times now. Done every which way, pit passes, box seats. Got to go to Victory Lane one time. But now I think it's all about the tailgate. This 7:30 p.m. green flag makes for a fantastically long day of tailgating. We like to get there, cook our breakfast at 7 in the morning, and hang out all day. And in an August race like this, there's not much to do at the tailgate, but we get that mid-September race. We'd have the TV going, watching college football all day long on the satellite or the Wi-Fi hotspot, whatever it was at the time. But yeah, just a fantastic place to tailgate and see a race. I think there were definitely a couple years where the racing wasn't as good as it used to be, but I think we're seeing quite a show here tonight, as these next-gen cars are struggling with rear grip, especially on cold tires, and Nathan Finnegan leads them back to green here on lap 68.
Tiptoeing through the turn 1 and the turn 2, down the back straightaway. Here we go, 2 by 2, Goodyear to Goodyear here, mid-pack. Kyle Gilbert trying to get around the 72 car of Brad Delph.
And Delph goes wide. That's going to give Gilbert the position, as now Jacob Smith, he's trying to get a 2-for-1 special here in turn 1 as he dives it in. Ooh, somebody into the wall.
That path. He's still Goodyear to Goodyear with the 227 car of Kyle Gilbert.
And Brian Smith. Sorry to cut you off, Alan. I just saw it's Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan battling it out for the lead of the race. And these have got to be your two champion favorites, coming in 1 and 2 in the playoff standings here tonight.
And here comes the 30 car of Ryan Petty. Don't count him out either. He won back at Daytona, and that's where we're going to be at next week. We're going to be at Daytona under the lights. So here we go. Brian Smith, Nathan Finnegan, and Ryan Petty, a 3-horse battle for the lead right now. Brian Smith pulling away. We got a dynamite race up here in the front.
Yeah, this top 3 has 15 combined wins this season. They know how to get it done. But then riding in 4th place, I think we called out Jonathan Duncan's name earlier in the broadcast as one of those drivers who is starting this round of 16 already on the outside looking in for the cutoff to the round of 12. He needs to have a good run or possibly win this thing. And there Kyle Purcell gets loose. Keeps it under him.
But now we're going to be single filed out here as we're watching Kyle Purcell there out of Chicago and Iracing. There's our buddy from Alabama, go Auburn. Patrick Colby there in that number 15 spot. 12 positions in the wrong way. And he's got a whole mirror full of Tizio right behind him.
There's just nowhere to ride and catch your breath here at Richmond. We're now 75 laps in the books.
This is an elbows up kind of track, and some drivers like racing elbows up. And as I mentioned too, Shane, as I mentioned in every short track, we're watching 2 races. One is the front of the field, 2 is the back of the field. It's not a matter of if the leaders are going to catch the back; it's a matter of when.
Absolutely. Right now, 23 cars still on the lead lap. I don't think we quite had the leader catch the tail of the field in stage 1, but stage 2 almost twice as long. Going to lap 140 here, so we might even see some green flag stops if we run it all the way. Again, that fuel window somewhere between 70 and 80, and this stage is going to be about 86 or 87 laps. Green flag racing.
Want to welcome everybody here in the YouTube.com live chat as iPhone is cheering on Buddy Motorsports. We have our first free penny of the night. And Chris Luis wasn't happy with the earlier incident.
Yeah,
and
I have to imagine that one's going to be a post-race discussion between the race control and some of the drivers. We have another caution. Charlie Widener involved here. Oh, off the nose of the 4. Back that one up. So we see the 4 gets under the 95. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like they just got together. That one feels more like a racing incident. 95 does tap the wall there. Hopefully not too much damage on that 95.
I feel like the Iracing.com pace car is going to get more laps in than the rest of the field.
Yeah, so everybody coming in now. While they do, let's take a look at the best laps. Who's turning those hot laps here today? Brian Smith, the fastest lap of the night, a 21.61. Ryan Patty, the only other driver in the 21.6s, and then Charles Woods, Nathan Finnegan, and Cody Neal. Those are your 5 fastest cars in terms of their best lap of the night. Also, check our lap leaders. Ooh, almost some contact there. This always makes me nervous. Of course, iRacing does kind of ghost the cars in the pit stall itself, but they don't always do that. Oh, there is it. Just I say it. You never really know if iRacing is going to let you drive through other cars when you're kind of further to the right on pit lane. Sometimes the contact is there. Sometimes they kind of give you a bit of grace there, as the 6 and 78 would have had contact if iRacing wanted them to. But yeah, checking in on our lap leaders. Nathan Finnegan has led 57 laps. He is dominating that stat so far. Jacob Smith with 12 earlier. And Brian Smith, who had taken the lead there not too long ago, has led 11 laps, with Cody Neal and Braxton DeWeese also grabbing some laps led. And it might have been an incident with Champion here under caution. Looks like he just pulls down. I'm assuming that's a technical issue of some sort. Does he pull? Yeah. We've talked about the last couple weeks of one of the latest iRacing updates has caused some screen freezes, especially for folks using an Intel CPU. There sounds like there's a BIOS or motherboard driver update that's supposed to fix it, but we have seen a lot more of incidents like that where drivers either have a screen go blank while they're racing or under caution and they know what wire to jiggle or button to press to get it to come back. So we've got a bit of a pit strategy shakeup here for the first time tonight. Why don't we take a look at our pit stop stats? As you can see, Cody Neal, Patrick Colby, Chuck Van Schaik, and Matt Everett all came to pit road under one of those previous cautions or the stage. And then it's Nathan Finnegan going to be the first car on fresh tires. So pay attention to Finnegan and Smith. They are the ones that stopped. Everyone in front of them on older tires. Not that much older. I think the oldest one we saw was 24 laps. I think every lap counts to speed here. Smith trying to find his way around that 23 car of Chuck Van Schaik. He's going to do it. Glazer around the outside. So now Smith and Glazer are the first two cars on fresh tires. And we have another caution.
Yellow.
Looks like Gunther. Oh, I'm seeing my screen just lit up. There must be 12 or 13 cars involved in that one. I think it started
Gilbert
with Kevin
involved.
Gunther. Oh, and it did not. It was actually the 5. Gilbert and Matt Everett. Oh, and Gilbert just... Let's go back and see that before we check out the rest of this accident. Does he get loose and then has to overcorrect it? That's the second time Gilbert's had to make a correction that got some other cars involved. Yeah, that was just about everybody from 10th on back caught a little bit of that one. Gunther almost squeezes by on the bottom. See what happened to Sean Purcell. Oh, he's already. Oh, he catches some contact right at the end as Duncan is just trying to get out of there. Got a number of drivers now caught up in that. Specifically on pit road, Gunther, Bloom, Champion, Taylor, Duncan, and Everett. Kyle Diaz and Kyle Gilbert also in. And Gilbert handed a meatball flag, so he's got the most serious damage. It's our 7th caution here tonight. We're averaging a caution about every 12 laps.
A whole lot of stage.
That leaves
A
Cody
lot
Neal
of stages.
in the lead. So Neal and Colby were on those older tires. They were doing their best to stay out front, and it looked like they were doing a pretty good job. Again, as we take a look at that pit strategy, so now it's Smith and Glazer, the first cars, on some fresher tires here. Actually looks like Glazer might have gone fuel only, as well as Kyle Purcell there on that last stop. Either way, he was coming forward, following, kind of splitting the field with Brian Smith. Brian was going low, Glazer going high, doing what they needed. So Neal in the lead. We'll take a look at his journey tonight. Yeah, you can see, I mean, up and down is an understatement at this point. He started in the top 5, rode there for a while, and then had a bit of an issue. We mentioned that. He dropped out back to about 10th. He's made 2 stops so far, but he's got himself the lead by staying out about 2 cautions ago. So we'll see what he can do as, again, the 78 and the 87 on seemingly fresher tires here. Nathan Finnegan also lurking in the 6th position. Pace car's off and green flag is out. Neal gets a pretty good jump, but the 78 is already by Colby. And it only took him one set of turns to get his nose out front. Colby going to try to follow him through. As Nathan Finnegan starts trying that high line. That's as high as I've seen anyone run today.
Yeah, you almost have to start out high and, you know, in the corner. And look at Cody Neal there in that 38 car. That it's still surprised that those Buddy Motorsports cars are running up near the front.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Let's take a look at where they all are right now. Brian Smith in first, Cody Neal third, and then Jacob Smith kind of rallying back from that earlier wreck and contact. He's up to 13th. Mike Taylor caught up in one of those recent accidents. He's in 21st, so kind of a mixed bag for the team tonight so far.
And now Cody Neal under fire from 6 car of Nathan Finnegan, trying to get by the 6 car and can't quite complete the pass. We've been doing a lot of close quarters racing all night long. A lot of give and take. We're almost to the century mark here at Richmond. Working to get to lap 140 here. Maybe these guys can settle in and put some laps on the board.
Yeah, Finnegan well, it looked like he cleared the 38. It's gonna take him probably one more turn here to do it. But again, we've seen all night that outside lane is pretty good at defending. Even when a faster car gets to your bumper, you can stay high. You can make them work for it. But this battle here for second between Colby, Finnegan, and Neal has let Brian Smith pull away. He's now built up a 0.6 of a second lead in just a couple laps. Further on back, we got Jacob Smith going 3 wide with McNeil and Purcell. And Widener gets loose. Car scrambling to get around there. 3 wide. Oh, and there's a contact.
That's a caution.
We were watching it there. That 95 car got loose off of. Let's actually back it up one more lap. He's battling here with Purcell and Smith, and he gets loose right in the middle of 3 and 4. Right there, and he has to check up. And McNeil and the 74, they're not going to lift, but I'm not sure that the 74 knows they're 3 wide, so he crowds them a little bit. That collects a 15, 72, 27. Everyone behind him pulling evasive maneuvers. So once again, Brian Smith out front.
That defensive driving course really came in handy.
Eighth caution here, but again, I think by what we're averaging, we should have another caution on lap 112. Write that one down, Alan. We'll see if my prediction comes true.
Put that on my bingo card.
So we got a number of cars on pit road. I think we've had a lot of repairs here in the first 100 laps at Richmond. Let's take a look at our wrench wranglers. Cody Eldred has been on pit road for over 31 minutes. Next up, Adam Ball with 3 minutes. Kyle Diaz, though, he has over a minute and a half of repairs made on the night, and he's running in the top 10. So he's doing something right. Whether it's pit strategy, tire saving, or something else. Always love to see guys rebound from huge repairs like that gives me hope for my next race.
I could spot for you.
My dad does, well, he doesn't do spotting. He does more like strategy, but usually have my dad in my ear helping me out with my league races. We're 1 lap to green here. It's going to be a start of lap 102 when we get going green. Let's take a quick look at the trajectory of the 78. I mean, it's onwards and upwards. Starting in 25th. Just been steadily working his way up. Got to the lead. Got 4 fresh tires. That dropped him back to about 10th. And then he's been heading to the front ever since. And he's out front now with Nathan Finnegan and Ryan Patty once again. And Cody Neal gets a great start there behind the 78. He's going to move up to second right away. Smith tries to pull away, and Finnegan gets to the outside of the 38.
We got a couple good battles here right now. Finnegan and Cody Neal are Goodyear to Goodyear. So is Billy Glazer and Jacob Smith. They're both Goodyear to Goodyear. Coming out of the front straightaway. They're going to file down the turn number 1. Down the back chute. And now we got some other battles heating up between John McNeil and Kyle Diaz. And oh wait, Kevin Gunther and Patrick Colby also battling back there in that 9th position. I wish we could go double box, but we sure can't, because I mean, we're really not missing anything in there up there in the front.
Yeah, Smith started to pull away again. Oh, and there goes the car.
Kevin Gunther goes around.
No contact. Oh,
And
I was going to say, it looked like we were going to stay
caution.
green. But that got him.
That's caution 9. Caution 9 on the night.
Oh, they didn't even make it to my predicted lap.
I should have took the under.
Go back and take a look at what happened to Gunther. Again, just another car getting solo loose off of turn 2. Now, I think they were also 3, maybe 4 wide almost while it was happening. So, well, they were 4 wide after he got sideways anyway. Still another chance for drivers to hit pit road, maybe shake up that strategy. Right now, most drivers, I think, are on the same strategy. We'll take a look here. Brian Smith and Finnegan, they both took 4 tires, as well as Ryan Patty. 25 laps ago at that caution. Cody Neal still out there. He last pitted on lap 41, and I'm pretty sure he took fuel only on that lap. Yeah, he took fuel only back around lap 60. So he hasn't put tires on in over 50 laps. He's really holding his own up there. Doing a great job. And then as you head back, the drivers that actually have the freshest tires are going to be Patrick Colby, Kyle Purcell, Robert Bloom, Brad Delph, and Anthony Tizio back around 10th to 15th.
Definitely your lap under caution for the 9th time tonight. And the 8th time for cause. So, nonetheless, here we go. Some of these drivers, you know, they'll come down and got their pit services done here. I mean, would this be an opportunity to kind of maybe flip the stage and take tires out? So you have to take tires at the end of the stage number 2?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only issue with that is you're assuming this is going to be the last caution. If you are going to flip the stage, you want to do it as late as possible. 32 laps to go in stage 2. I don't know if that's a safe a safe bet. But we'll see how it goes. Again, I think Neil is the one driver kind of doing an alternate strategy. He's only put tires on once. Whereas if we pull up Brian Smith, he's put 4 tires on twice. Finnegan as well. And Ryan Patty as well. So those 3 drivers, we'll call that the primary strategy. Neil saving a set so far. Still running in the top 4. And we're off again. Smith all over the bumper of the 30. Thought about shooting the middle to go 3 wide. And then thought better.
Here you go, Cody Neal and Ryan Patty. Goodyear to Goodyear down the back straightaway and entered into the chat. Jacob Smith.
He started on the pole. Trying to get back there. There he goes,
There
under
goes
30.
Jacob Smith to the inside. Got to pull alongside the 30 car. A dirty 30 of Ryan Patty. Got to think better of it.
Oh, there's such a difference in the approach to turns 1 and 2. Jacob Smith, he really enters with a lot of speed, but then his car kind of moves up right at the center. And he doesn't get the same exit as some of the other cars, but it seems like his style is leaning on that right front, and I think that's actually a great way to save the right rear. So watch Jacob Smith at the end of the run. I have a feeling he might be able to lay down the throttle better than some of the other drivers based on the line he's taken at this point. But Patty and Neil still battling it out. That's a battle for third. Right there, you just see how close that 4 car gets to you on the entry to turn 1. But then once his car loses the bottom, he loses a bit of momentum. Why don't we jump on board with Jacob here and watch that. And there's that sun I was talking about. It makes that exit to turn 2 no fun at all. Take a look at that upper deck there at the entry to turn 1. That is the tallest structure in Henrico County, for anyone wondering. Watched an Xfinity race from the top row up there once. You could barely hear the cars, you're so far away. So these guys continue to battle. Up here, we've got a couple other battles a little further back. John McNeil is looking under Patrick Colby. Not quite going to get there this time.
Yeah, working lap 117 right now. And right now, the best battle on the racetrack. Well, these guys are all single filed out, like a line at the methadone clinic.
Kyle Diaz up 15 from where he started, dealt with some repairs we talked about earlier. He's riding in 12th position. And just ahead of him, Robert Bloom. He's up 18 positions on the night. And that 11 Toyota Camry for Dragonfly Racing.
He's not the only other Dragonfly Racing car that's doing very well tonight. And the other driver is Patrick Colby. Go Auburn.
You're right. And Jonathan Duncan was doing pretty well until he got caught up in some contact there a couple accidents ago. Otherwise, yeah, everybody at Dragonfly having a pretty good night.
Is that the Hamburglar on his car?
You know, I wasn't really paying attention until you said that, but that sure is what it looks like. A little Hamburglar McDonald's scheme there for the 11. As we got another caution. I believe this is going to be on Anthony Tizio involved. Take a look back. He's battling with Gunther. And then just gets... There it is. I mean, time and time again, one car gets loose out of turn 2. And for once in recent months, Iracing is actually being pretty quick to throw the caution, even for a single car spin. Here tonight, we've seen them kind of hold the button over the last month or so with a couple of the recent updates. So they are not holding back tonight.
Definitely not.
So here we are, 122 laps in the book. Stage 2 going to end at lap 140. So this is going to end up being about a 15-lap shootout to the end. And here it is, like you said, Alan, a lot of drivers, I think this is probably the time to try and do that stage flip. 15 laps, not going to be that detrimental to your tires. You got to be thinking that Smith and Finnegan and Patty, they're all coming in. Cody Neal, again, we think he's on some older tires. He's going to be coming in, and so this might be your chance here. The first car on this strategy is this 11 car. Pitting right here. Then Mike Taylor, Jonathan Duncan, and Matt Everett's also hitting pit road. And I think those drivers also making some repairs while they've got the hood up, so to say.
I can see that.
So we'll take a look at these point standings one more time. Again, the drivers you're going to really want to watch for, you know, from 8th on back is a 3-point difference. Kyle Diaz starting the playoffs, 2,003 points, just 3 bonus points in the regular season. Everybody else, they're on back. I think there actually might be some typos here. So that 1 and 2 there between Van Schaik and McNeil, that should be 10 and 11. Or 9 and 10. Excuse me. But yeah, everybody, Kyle Diaz, Van Schaik, McNeil, Taylor, Ball, Colby, Purcell, Lockett, Duncan, they're all pretty much tied starting the playoffs. So they've got to find something tonight to set them up for success here in round 1.
Yeah, but where do you find it at? Where is that success? Does it come in the form of a pit stop? Is it going to be one of those things where you think to yourself at the end of the first round, man, if that Richmond race would have just went a little bit differently?
Back under green here on lap 125. Brian Smith out front. Nathan Finnegan and Cody Neal battling for second just behind him. Then Ryan Patty and Jacob Smith 2 by 2 behind them as Kyle Purcell snags the wall in the backstretch and just uses it to help his entry into turn 3. He's going to get under, I think that's John McNeil, and set his sights on the 28 of Colby.
I like how these guys are playing right now. They're playing, a tire lockout out of Patrick Colby in that number 28 car. We're going to see that quite a bit here. 3 wide, and this is a battle for that 17th, 18th spot right there with Michael Taylor. Yeah, just trying to be on that recovery run.
It was either Everett's or Fist was up high and kind of riding the wall in turn 3 in the previous lap. That caused a bit of a stack up. It was one of those black and red cars. Looks like they got it sorted out for now. Up front, Ryan Patty is making his way around Cody Neal as Neal scrapes the wall. Neal now under attack from Jacob Smith and Patrick Colby.
Yeah, they've gotten it settled out just for a moment here. As here we are working lap 130 almost 12 laps to the end of the stage here. And, I mean, it's gonna get good here. We're working our way. We're rocking and rolling. Right now, Patrick Colby is trying to work his way into the top 5. But here's the battle of the night right here. Nathan Finnegan and Brian Smith. That's what the eyeball test looks like. And if you're Nathan Finnegan, you're gonna start throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Brian Smith to get that stage win.
Yeah, and they are just kind of swapping lap times back and forth over who is fastest right now. Trading 3 and 4 hundredths of a second.
Yeah, they're swapping fast times like they're swapping chicken pox.
Yeah, I think Finnegan not letting Smith get away like he did on the last restart. These two know, again, what those stage bonus points are worth here in the playoffs. These two are 1 and 2 in the standings as we start round 1 here at Richmond. Finnegan scrapes the wall ever so gently. Sparks are flying now as the sun goes down here in the Virginia capital city.
You know what to say, Virginia is for lovers. And right now, these two are loving this racetrack, and we're loving this battle here. Lap 133, rocking and rolling the 8 to the end of stage number 2. No problems with Spectrum Internet right now, but here we are, out of turn number 3. Town's back straight away and rocking and rolling into turn number 2. I gotta tell you, this is my favorite battle on the racetrack right now, Shane. These guys come out of turn number 3 and 4 to get lap 136.
And again, they're matching lap times down to the 1,000th of a second at this point.
Jay, you gotta wonder to yourself, and Nathan Finnegan is saying, anything you can do, I can do better. Ryan Smith out of Northville, Michigan. And it's a battle of Michigan and Rhode Island right now, the 2024 Icon Cup Series champion. It's proven time in and time out this season why he's the champion in Icon, why he was on the top of the pile last season. And here we are, just as we got some tire lock up ahead. We see the smoke, but we don't see the fire.
Now Smith starting to pull away. Not sure if it was that wall contact or if Finnegan was just pushing his tires really hard, but he has lost that speed he had a couple laps ago. And it looks like Smith is locking him up again. Come back, 3 laps to go here in stage 2. Just over halfway in the race. I mean, I'm seeing that smoke every lap. I'm wondering if someone's just grilling down there in turns 3 and 4.
Is that the virtual Shane Cochran?
It could be me.
Just grilling?
We roll the smoker all day long, so we get a good cloud going. No smoke this time, though, as they have lapped Duncan. But he's going to be in the lucky dog position here as the stage wraps up. Last lap for Brian Smith. There it is, stage 2 winner, the 78. And the caution is out.
Well, this is the caution we want to see.
And with that, while everybody decides what they're going to do on pit road, we're going to step away one more time for a quick commercial break and be back for the start of the final stage here in the Richmond 250 with the Icon Cup Series. Racing here, the Richmond 250, stage 3 underway. Matt Everett's out front. Ryan Patty right on his bumper. Looking underneath now. There he goes. Ryan Patty to the lead. And we got Patrick Colby going around. There they go. We are hearing some feedback in the live chat that we're having some network issues on the stream. Did a quick status check. Looks like it is my internet provider having some issues here tonight, so apologies for the choppy video. We'll do our best to keep the broadcast going and do some more technical checks during the week before next week's race at Daytona. So we go back, take a quick look at what happened here to Patrick Colby. And I put money on a single car getting loose out of turn 2. There it is. He gets a little help, though, from Purcell behind him. Brings out the caution yet again. So we saw Ryan Patty take the lead. That's going to be the first time he has led here tonight. So we take a look at his trajectory tonight. He's been pretty much in the top 10 or the top 5 all night long, especially over stage 2. And now he is leading Brian Smith, Jacob Smith, and a whole load of other cars. If you're wondering how the 5 car got the lead there on the restart, it looks like he stayed out during the stage. One of the only drivers, maybe the only driver on track that did not come down and pit there on lap 142. Jacob Smith is now back up to 3rd. He's been all the way down to 26th and then has been fighting his way back towards the front from some earlier incidents very early on in the race. Leading 12 laps to start tonight's race. That sun is still hanging around. Hasn't gone down below the mountains just yet. That pace car is going to pull off. We're going to go back green flag racing after our 12th caution of the night. Here we go. Ryan Patty and Brian Smith lead them back to green. There they go. So Patty going to pull away. Oh, it might have been a little bit of contact there between Finnegan and Jacob Smith. They're going to work it out, though. Finnegan drops in line back and forth. And on behind those guys, it's Cody Neal and John McNeil. That's a battle for 5th place. And it just ramps up on behind him. Everett still on those older tires, and you can see the speed difference right there as the 74 has to lock him up just to stay out of the back of the 5. Oh, and Cody Neal having an issue.
That's the first time all week that we've seen him have an issue on this racetrack, as Ryan Patty is now taking the lead.
Yes, sir. He had it from the restart. And we're checking a lap back here as we see Neal racing with the 48. They get into turn 3. And he just gets loose off of 4. Pretty miraculous save. Going to lose a lot of positions, but could have been a lot worse.
I'll take the loss of positions any day of the week.
As now, who is that? Diaz looks to be slow up in front of this pack. And again, Everett's is just drifting back. And we got somebody going around. That's Tizio. He's going to hit the wall. We stay green. Yeah, I'll go back and take a look at this one. The 15 car, just a half lap ago. Gets loose out of turn 2. One of the better saves we've seen on the night.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely here. Lap 157, 156 laps in the history books. Here we are rocking and rolling our way to lap 250.
Duncan now going another lap down. Not having the best night there for the 13. But he's putting in the work to try and salvage as many points as he can here at Richmond. And there, Brian Smith gets a little tight up into the wall. See, he's trying to chase down Ryan Patty. Closest battle on track, though, is back here around 17th. As Everett's on older tires is getting overtaken by drivers left and right. I think that's the first time tonight we've seen the tire strategy be so obvious of how much those fresh tires are worth.
Exactly, and right now those fresh tires are worth their weight in gold. As we got us a nice little battle here with Michael Taylor in that Buddy Motorsports car. That's Titleist as a sponsor on that number 08 car this week.
Diaz now under fire from Jake Champion in the 27, and Cody Neal is right there too. He's trying to get back, regain some spots after that drift down the front stretch.
He did it Tokyo drift style. "162 laps in the history books right now. We're working our way to lap 164 as we are nearing just 50 to go, if my math is correct. I mean, we're still doing St. Louis math, so.
Oh, I think it's a
Might be off a lap or two.
yeah, a little under 100 to go. We're going to lap 250. There they go. Getting a little more spaced out here. And then up ahead, Kyle Purcell under fire from John McNeil and Bentley Glazer. This is a battle for 5th.
You know, last week at Watkins Glen, you'd almost run the race backwards. Fuel strategy and pit strategy. Here, you're just trying to get, you know, there's going to be a lot of caution, so you're really not concerned with too much with saving unless we get a green flag run.
Yes, it's just too hard to predict. I mean, if you knew when all the cautions were going to come, anybody could be a crew chief. It's like Jacob Smith and Nathan Finnegan are battling here. We saw Finnegan kind of check up there on the restart and lose a little momentum. That dropped him to 4th. Now he's coming back. It's still Ryan Patty out front. Take a look at his Electric City Racing teammates here tonight. Gunther running 8th. Adam Ball back in 22nd. He's a couple laps down at this point, involved in some of those wrecks, but he was having a good run up near the front at the beginning of the night. So ECR having a great night. Buddy Motorsports now 2nd, 3rd, and 11th. So all 4 cars in the top 15. They're having a pretty good night. Finnegan running in the top 5 for Collar City. His teammate Cody Eldred had some extensive repairs earlier in the race. And I believe he's still on track in the pits, but many laps down.
A lot of laps down. A lot of laps down.
Chicagoland Racing also has 2 drivers in the top 15, Kyle and Sean Purcell. They've been in the mix all night long. Bentley Glazer and Charles Woods representing Old Guys Rule. They've got 2 drivers in the top 15. And then back in 7th, John McNeil, the only driver in tonight's race from Adrenaline Racing. Kyle Diaz, the only driver for Gone Wrong. And Chuck Van Schaik, the only driver for GOAT Racing tonight. Hanover Fist representing TDA. Tizio for Great Lakes Racing. And Widener for Highline. Now Cody Neal, again, working his way back up after that sideways incident out of turn 4. He's going to look underneath of Kyle Diaz. Take a look at our race recap. Jacob Smith started on pole. Nathan Finnegan won stage 1. Brian Smith won stage 2. And cautions, yeah, we got a lot of them. And there, speaking of, there's the 13th. Patrick Colby. No, that was the last one. Not seeing who was directly involved in that one. I thought I saw some smoke near the 38. See if we can go back a lap or 2 and see what might have happened here. Is Diaz and Neal? Oh, there it is. It's just up in front of him. Was that Kyle Purcell? That's who it was. Let's back that up one more time and watch what happened to Kyle. Yeah, I think he just took an awkward angle trying to make that pass on the lap car of Duncan, and it just didn't set up his turn exit very well. And like he says, if he crashes, blame Fruit Snacks. So that one's on the cat. So now we've got drivers hitting pit road. Going to be, looks like 7, maybe 8 cars Oh, I'm sorry.
Can we really blame
just two
Chad?
cars stayed out, and now they're coming down this time. So Van Schaik and Bloon initially staying out and now coming down pit road. And that is going to send the lead back to Ryan Patty. So where is Brian Smith? He's coming out third. And it looks like he just had maybe a half-second longer pit stop on that one. That makes me think.
Are we really gonna? We're really gonna blame the fruit snacks on.
I mean, I'm just doing what I was told.
Okay.
But yeah, so Brian Smith in that 78 having a slightly slower pit stop. Wonder if he told him to clean that windshield one more time to get that sun glare down. A tip I picked up from a guy in my league is that clean the windshield is actually worth a little bit of time on the pit stop, and to always make sure you check it off unless you desperately need it. And I wonder if that was the difference there, because Jacob Smith and Ryan Patty had identical stops of 14.7 and Finnegan with a 14.8 and then Brian Smith with a 15.1. And that makes the difference between being the leader and being here on the back bumper of the 30.
They could just do like Dale Earnhardt does back in the 80s and just, climb out the car and clean the windshield real quick.
Yeah, do what you got to do. The pace car is off for the 14th time tonight. As we get back racing, Ryan Patty takes the lead. And Brian Smith looks under his teammate in the 4. He's going to grab second right away. And now, Finnegan was looking low, and Jacob Smith threw a block on him. I don't think they made contact, but that's about as close as you can get without making contact, as Champion gets sideways. And he is still sideways there. 14th caution of the night. This one out of turn 4.
If you had 14 cautions on your bingo card tonight, well...
You got it now.
I triple dog dare these guys to go green the rest of the way.
I got to imagine. I don't have the stats directly in front of me, but this sure feels like the most cautions we've seen all season.
You know what? I think you're on the north side of right.
As I look to see if there's any way on Sim Racer Hub to get a cautions per race stat, doesn't look like they have it. But we'll add that to our tech department's to-do list. So we got about half the field here on the lead lap has come down to pit. Get slightly fresher tires. Or just top off on fuel. Have to check the pit lap times to see what they're doing in there. Looks like 4 tire stops for all those folks, and Cody Neal is going to be the first one out of the pits in terms of running order, running in 15th for this next restart. Again, let's take a look at those tire stats. Yeah, so everybody out there took 4 tires about 6 laps ago. And then Cody Neal on back, they're going to have 4 tires from this caution. So not a huge difference. I don't expect 7 laps to be material like we saw what happened to Everett. He was on a much bigger tire deficit, and he kind of paid the price for that. But maybe he was able to save a set of tires for later in the race, and he'll make it up on strategy.
He's got to have to do something here. Because here we are getting ready to go back to green. The Iracing.com pace car lights should be going out here on lap 182. There they are. The lights are out on the car and around the speedway. We're getting ready to green next time by. The sun becoming less of an issue. Now you got lights. So these cars are going to start getting really, really tight.
It looks like that sun has finally made it over the horizon. Ryan Patty, Brian Smith, Jacob Smith, and Nathan Finnegan going to lead us back to green. And these four have looked like the ones to be all night long. And there, Smith on the outside gets a great restart, sticks with Patty. They're going to be side by side down the backstretch.
And here we are. We got Ryan Patty and Brian Smith. Goodyear to Goodyear, and so is Nathan Finnegan and Jacob Smith. The top four all Goodyear to Goodyear. As the top two finally get to settle it out. Here comes Brian Smith, going to cross Ryan Patty over. He's going to fall in line, but right now the real battle is with Nathan Finnegan and Jacob Smith there. And as Jacob Smith tells Brian, you know, you can do it, I can do it better.
Yeah, it looked like the 78 is getting tight out of turn 4 and getting into the wall, and it cost him the battle with Patty. Or sorry, now Patty. Did Ryan Patty just blink out?
Oh, I hope not.
Where is he? There he is in 20th. I feel like I blinked and he wasn't there anymore.
No.
And I don't know if he was the caution. It looks like Everett's was involved in a crash. That's what brought out the caution. And just another solo spin off of 2, but let's go back and see what happened to Ryan Patty. No, he got loose and then saved it down in the grass. We were so focused on that battle with the 78, we missed it, or at least I did. No contact, though. And what a what a gift that caution was for him to be able to get caught back up with the field after that miraculous save. Let's ride along with Ryan. Oh, you can see it sounded like he downshifted. Did you hear that, Alan?
I did. You could hear that little blip in the RPMs as he self-spun.
Yeah, he jumped into 5th and didn't like it and dropped back to 4th. I assume that was on purpose. So either way, that seems to be what got him sideways. So Patty having some bad luck to get, down in the grass like that, and then some good luck to have a caution come out almost immediately. So he is back in 18th position now. And that has left Jacob Smith, I believe, in the lead. It looked like Brian checked up when he saw Ryan slow on the front stretch, and that gave the 4-car an opportunity to pounce just as the caution came out. But we had also seen the 78 get into the wall off of 4, and that's what kind of brought him back to P2 while he was battling with the 30. So a lot going on there in about a lap and a half that has just changed the outlook of the race. The pole sitter, Jacob Smith, back to the pole. Ryan Patty, who had led 38 laps so far tonight, now relegated back to 18th position with just 60 to go.
Yeah, we got some good news here in the SRM stable. As our good buddy Mike Demoni, one of his friends got called up to the big show with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, I saw that. That is great.
And
kind of an awkward restart there as Glazer was nowhere near the back bumper of the 4. I'm not sure if he was supposed to be, or if there was some confusion around the lineup. Either way, the 78 is looking to the inside and looking for the lead. Nathan Finnegan trying to follow him through there. Not quite going to clear the 4. There he gets it there. So now Jacob falls in line in second as Nathan Finnegan is trying to find a way around. We've seen these two drivers be racing each other, harder than we've seen them do before, and we see Finnegan has to lock up the front, trying to hold the bottom under the 4. Checks up a little bit. And tries to gather it back up. As Brian Smith just ran the fastest lap of the race. With the sun going down, this track is going to get faster and faster.
if there's one thing this track, these cars love, that's cool air. And right now, as we are going under caution again.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Not quite sure what that one was for. Any ideas there, Alan? I've got nothing on any of my broadcast tools.
I'm not 100% sure.
We'll jump back a lap or two and try to see if we can catch something here. A lot of drivers are racing tight, but I don't see maybe the 23. Oh, there it is, the 23 and the 11. Back it up one more lap and watch this battle. That's the 23 of Chuck Van Schaik, the 11 of Robert Bloom. And they're both following Anthony Tizio. Oh, and there it is. You can see the 11 kind of runs high in 3 and 4 and then tries to get kind of a downhill run onto the front stretch, but the 23 is also there, and his car is going out to the wall. That's kind of the traditional line out of 4. So I'm not sure either driver expected the other one to be there.
No, I don't think they did either.
Meanwhile, like I said, Brian Smith just turned the fastest lap of the night, but Ryan Patty has the second fastest. He has gained 4 positions there in that quick run. He is going to be doing everything he can to fight and claw his way back to the front.
Well, here we are at lap 197 of 250. They're scheduled to be run here. I want to thank everybody for joining us here in the youtube.com live chat.
Going to be Brian Smith in the 78. Leading this group. 53 laps to go here in Richmond.
It looks like you may have some storms nearby.
Yeah, you want to apologize again, or I can see it happening just like you can in the in my network stats. But not much I can do from this seat. So we'll do a full systems check before next week's race and see if there is anything we can do to fix that stuttering. But in the meantime, we've got Brian Smith, Jacob Smith, Buddy Motorsports on the front row. And the pace car comes down pit road for the 17th time tonight. And we're green flag racing one more time. The 78 with a great jump there. Gunther on the outside behind him. They're 3 wide. That's Charlie Widener down to the bottom. Purcell on the outside. Woods in the middle. And they get it. Well, for a second they got back to 2. Still 3 wide. How about that? Then back around 5th place, John McNeil battling with Kyle Diaz. Cody Neal, Patrick Colby right behind him. Is now Mike Taylor has broken back into the top 10 after some contact earlier in the race. And that's kind of just been the story all night, Alan. A wreck happens and add another driver to the list of people trying to work their way back to the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we are with just 49 laps to go here. Or now we got 49 laps to go. And here comes Ryan Patty on the proverbial recovery drive. He's right where he started with the ECR car. Valvoline as a sponsor here. We are Goodyear to Goodyear. And that's the 98 car. Charles Woodley's getting around. Cal Diaz up there next on the pecking order.
Patty now up to 11th. Again, he dropped out of the lead back to 18th with that spin. Glazer now underneath of Van Schaik. Cody Neal and John McNeil continue to battle for 5th place. Cody going to take it for now. Patty now up to 10th, working on 9th. That's Charlie Widener in the 95. So we take a look at our fastest 5 for 5. That's who is fastest on track for the last 5 laps. And guess what? It's the top 5. Brian Smith is the fastest. Nathan Finnegan, second fastest, riding in 3rd, trying to catch Jacob Smith. But just consistent laps out of that top 5 all night long. Here's John McNeil is now under fire from Mike Taylor.
Oh. Michael Taylor taking John McNeil Goodyear to Goodyear, trying to get that Titleist car past the McNeil Media sponsor number 48. Here we go down to turn number 1. Here comes Patrick Colby. Enter that 28 car into the chat.
And the sun is down and the lights are on now at Richmond. So we have 42 laps remaining in the Richmond 250. Here with the Icon Cup Series. Just some great battles all the way around the track. And now Ryan Patty working on the 28. Continuing his march forward. And just worry if he's going to have to use up his tires so much getting there. If he'll have anything left for these leaders without catching a caution or something to reset the field.
Still a long ways to go here as we are entering into the twilight of the day here in Richmond and on the race here. Ryan Patty still trying to make a bid for that number 48 car and to get back into that top 7.
And it looks like Gunther and Neal are starting to catch Jacob Smith. Got almost a second gap between first and second and third. And then this group here to round out the top 5, starting to close in on each other. Kyle Diaz losing a position to the 23. Kind of hitting a moment of, I don't know, comfort. Seems like the drivers have gotten the handle on that exit of turn 2. It might have been that the temperature's going down, tighten up the track just a little bit for them. We have not seen all those solo spins, and I'm knocking on all the wood on my desk to keep from jinxing myself. Right now, we've got some side-by-side battle. This is for 15th, Charles Woods and Sean Purcell.
I was going to say, don't give yourself to broadcaster jinx now.
And Purcell going to take that position from the 98. As Kyle Diaz, not sure what is wrong with this 26 car, but he has lost a bunch of positions here in the last few laps. He is on slightly older tires than those guys going by. He pitted last on lap 174, whereas they pitted maybe about 20 laps later. There did Glazer and Purcell. So they're making the most of those. As it continues to be Brian Smith out front. But I had said just a couple laps ago there was a second gap between first and second. That is now just 0.3. So it seems like Finnegan is on the move in the last couple laps. And again, we check those fastest 5 for 5. Nathan Finnegan at the top over the last 5 laps. Brian Smith is number 2, though, so these guys are neck and neck. Finnegan averaging about a tenth a lap faster than the 78, so he is beginning to track him down.
Approaching that 31 lap to go mark here, and Brian Smith starting to track down the end of the, starting to track the end of the field down, if you will.
Matching each other that time around. You gotta wonder if the dirty air is having an effect. You know, usually at a short track and at Richmond we don't think about air that much, but this next gen car is so sensitive to that effect that it just seems like, I mean, we saw Finnegan gaining a tenth a second lap after lap, and then the last 2 laps just 0.6, and then he lost, or sorry, 6 thousandths, so they pretty much matched on lap 219, and then that last lap was actually 0.03 slower than Brian. But from the eye test, it sure looks like he's getting closer. And the question is, what line are you going to use? And we talked earlier about how the high line seemed better for defense, but the 78 is hugging the bottom. Now at both ends of the track. So we have 28 to go. This battle for the lead is just about the best one on track. We'll quickly check back with Patrick Colby and Chuck Van Schaik, as well as John McNeil and Mike Taylor. A handful of battles going on right now in the top 10.
Oh, my friend, there's more action than a Waffle House at 3 a.m. right now.
I was
and
waiting
like
for
you
it.
always say, it depends on the Waffle House. It's not a race broadcast, so I don't make a Waffle House reference.
So these two continue to kind of match each other, trading just a half a tenth or so each lap, back and forth. You just wonder. We saw Finnegan at the end of stage 2 get in this exact same position and just looked like he used up his tires trying to get to the back bumper and then get around the 78. And you can see, I don't know, let's see if we can catch that the next lap. when they get into turn 3, you can see the brake rotors glowing on both cars, but the ones on the 6 they look a lot hotter than the ones on the 78. It just looks like he is pushing a lot harder. Here's the shot right here. You see that, Alan? There's almost no glow out of the 78's rotors, but you can see those 6s from a mile away.
Because Brian's able to roll that corner a lot better than Nathan is here on lap 227, and you can just see that. Just see how smooth he is. As you see, oh, there it is. There's that redness, that glowing of the brake rotors, and I love that everything did that. Was able to see, you could really see. You know, Nathan is pushing that car a lot harder than Brian is. Now we're getting ready to come up on a lot of traffic. This is going to play into Nathan's hands. This is going to play into Nathan Finnegan's hands. Now Nathan Finnegan or Brian Smith would love to go into Daytona knowing that they're locked in. That's going to make those guys breathe a little bit easier this week as they start making laps.
Yeah, it's going to be Duncan and Fist are those two lappers. They're getting ready to catch. Now, the 13 is multiple laps down. I don't think he's going to put up a fight. But Fist is the last driver on the lead lap. He is not going to want to go a lap down if he can avoid it. So we'll see what kind of fight he puts up with the 78. Right now, it looks like he's just taking the high line and giving these leaders plenty of room on the bottom. And that seems to be
right now we have
pretty courteous and polite of the 69.
20 laps to go. 20 laps left here at the Richmond Raceway. Shane, I know last night you got to hear the thunder, the roar of the engines battling out, as well as you got to watch it on television. But here tonight, with 19 laps to go, Brian Smith leading the way here at Richmond.
Yeah, we're going to jump on board with Brian and look back at Finnegan trying to chase him down. Why don't we actually jump on board and do a lap with each driver, see if they're doing anything noticeably different. Looks like Smith stays in fourth all the way past the start-finish line. And he's down to the bottom. Downshifts to fourth pretty early on in the entry. And he is loose on exit of 2. And again, he's only in fifth gear there for a split second before he drops it back in fourth. Help rotate the car. All right, now let's do a lap with Finnegan. A little later on the downshift into 1. He's taking a higher line right here. His car does not look as loose as Brian's. And he doesn't seem to be downshifting quite as aggressively. But otherwise, I'm not seeing a ton of difference in the way these two drivers are attacking the track right now. The closest battle on the track right now is this three-way battle for 11th. Bentley Glazer, Chuck Van Schaik, and Kyle Purcell all in this, and Colby is just ahead of them as well.
It's about to be a four-car battle. Here we are. Here comes Van Schaik, and here comes car right behind Bentley Glazer.
Woo, into the wall goes the 01. That cost him just a little bit. As we see Duncan, we mentioned he's a couple laps down, just trying to stay out of everyone's way at this point with some damage on that 13 car. Up front, Finnegan's charge has stalled out. Smith is now 0.6 ahead of that 6 car with just 13 laps to go. And again, we're just seeing the best of the best show up here tonight. Brian Smith, 8 wins on the season. Nathan Finnegan, 5 wins on the season. Jacob Smith with 2 wins. He's in third. Your fourth place driver, Cody Neal, he's got 2 wins on the season. Then John McNeil, he's won this year. Ryan Patty at 6, he's won this year. Mike Taylor running in 7th. I think he's the first driver in the running order that hasn't already been to victory lane this year. Here in race 25. There's a battle heating up for 7th. It's Charlie Widener and Mike Taylor. Well, heating up and done. The 95 goes right by the 08. 08 tries the crossover move on exit, but it just looks like that 95 has got the speed at this point in the run. Right on top of each other. And you can see the rotors glowing on those 2 cars for sure. This battle's not over. The 08 to the inside. Side by side out of 2. Some great racing here with 8 to go. Brian Smith continues to pull away from Nathan Finnegan up front. But we're watching this battle for 7th between Charlie Widener and Mike Taylor.
It's 8 laps. Oh, Charlie Widener gets a little bit of the wall there. And that's... sometimes that'll help you. That'll make you a little bit faster. As right now we got a dynamite race here, and that's for that number 7 spot. As Hanover Fest's gonna kind of be used as a pick, if you will.
And then just ahead of these drivers, the 38 and 48. I mentioned it earlier. It seems like when you drive at a short track like Richmond, you just keep running into the same drivers. I feel like we have said the 38 and 48 are currently battling side by side 10 times tonight. Right now, Cody Neal with the upper hand. 6 laps to go. Here at Richmond, almost some contact there as John McNeil entered the corner with a little extra speed. Not quite going to get to the bumper to the 38. Behind these 2 is Ryan Patty. We talked about him. He was in the lead. Spins down into the grass in the front stretch. Stays out of the wall. And then catches a quick caution, but that relegated him to 18th. He has made it back to 6th. But is still 6.5 seconds behind the leader, Brian Smith. So he's not going to make it back there to battle for the lead. But a pretty impressive recovery nonetheless. Up front, Brian Smith starting to pull away from Finnegan a little bit more each lap. Let's see on that one. Yeah, Smith 0.07 faster. They're on lap 246 and 247.
Stands the hourglass, they're running out as we have 2 laps to go. The flying green flag is out. 2 laps to go. Just 2 more times around this 3/8 mile for Brian Smith.
There it is. White flag in the air. Finnegan has nothing for the 78 at this point. He's now a 2.5 seconds back. As Brian Smith still lapping traffic here on the last lap of the race. And Brian Smith going to win the regular season finale and then win the playoff kickoff here at Richmond. Nathan Finnegan is 2nd. Jacob Smith in 4th. And they're going to be your podium drivers as we wait for the 78 to come around and do some victory donuts. We'll get those drivers in the booth for an interview here with Alan and myself. Brian and Jacob maybe going to do some dual burnouts. And there it is, synchronized celebration here with two Buddy Motorsports drivers on the podium. Just burning it up. Doing the Polish victory lap. Right-handing it around the Richmond Raceway is Brian Smith. And as they are trickling into the waiting room, first up, we've got Nathan Finnegan for you, Alan, our second place finisher in the 6 car. Nathan, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Hey, like Nathan, first off, congratulations here on finishing P2. I was gonna say you have real good in the coming weeks for the playoffs. But take us through that race and where you could have needed to get one caught up to Brian and two get buy-in besides 10 more laps.
Yeah, big shout out to the 78. Brian had good pace all night. I just wasn't aggressive enough when we had the track position, and unfortunately just didn't really think to try to push it too much to maintain that position. I was hoping we were going to be able to be quicker on the long runs, and it felt like we were. I think we were like a second back, and we ran them down, and the tires still felt good. And just once I got to within a car length, it's just just no way to get the car to roll the center at all anymore. But big shout out to Brian. He had awesome pace all night. Good racing with Jake in the 4 car, and yeah, I mean, good points day all around. And you know, we'll move on to Daytona here and see what we can do in Florida.
Look, man, before we get you out of here, who do you want to thank and who helped you get it done on this number 6 ride?
Yeah, big shout out to the CCR, ECR guys. Big shout out to Gladowich too. Jake's done an awesome job helping us out with race control in some of the races, being the eyes in the sky, you know, volunteering to help us out with that. And when he isn't in the car himself, so we really appreciate him doing that for us and Icon. And you know, big shout out to my wife for tuning in, my parents, and you know, appreciate everything you guys do each and every week for our broadcast.
All right, well, we'll talk to you again next week. Looking forward to Daytona. Congratulations again on P2.
Thanks, guys.
Next up, we've got driver the number 4, Jacob Smith. Jacob, we saw quite an eventful night for you. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, there was a lot that went on. I first off, I just want to apologize. I got into Braxton, so if he's watching by chance, it was just unfortunate. It was totally my fault, and I got into it with Charlie Widener, so just rough start to the race, put it on pole. Yeah, just again, apologies to Braxton. So had a black flag, had to drive through the pits under green, somehow made my way back to a podium, and I don't know, I guess that's all there is to say for tonight. It was hard fought. Brian had a great run at the end. He and Nathan were super close. So despite all the setbacks, good start to the playoffs here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you can kind of be disappointed with third, you know you had a great car, you had some great speed here tonight. We saw just some great battles all night long around the track. Everybody one of the things we were trying to figure out in the booth is what line was the best one. It looked like the high line was best if you're trying to defend, but then there at the end it kind of switched when the sun went down.
Excuse me. Yeah, it was super. It fluctuated. I think the high line was definitely good, to your point, for defending, but it was really right as the lights came on. One of those last couple of restarts, the high line just fell off. So Nathan was able to work the high line, get around me there, and chase Brian down. But other than that, I mean, staying on the low side at the end with the with the cooler track temps seemed to be dominant. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. So it was definitely fun with the tire fall off and the track changing throughout the night.
Yeah, and like you said, we saw driver after driver that was running up front get caught up in an incident or a penalty here and there, and then spend the rest of the night battling back. Of all those drivers, you're the one that made it back to the podium, so congratulations again on the third place finish, and anybody else you need to thank for tonight's race.
Yeah, that was definitely a hard-fought battle to get back up there, but no, again, just happy to get this Midwest Euro Parts Ford Mustang back in the on the podium, and everybody back at Buddy Motorsports. So glad we had another podium here, and I think Mike and Cody had great finishes. So good overall finish for everybody here at Buddy Motorsports to start the playoffs.
Yes, sir. Congratulations again. We'll see you next week at Daytona.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Alan, next up for you, the winner of the race, Brian Smith in the number 78. You got a copy?
I got you, Shane. How's it going?
Doing pretty good.
Hey, look, man, you're the man of the hour right now. It doesn't matter what paint you have on that car. You were just lights out smooth all race long. Take us through that race and what a drive it was.
Yeah, what a fun night. I totally blew it in qualifying. Did not get a lap in. So that was from the get-go, starting in the back, and sliced and diced my way up through the field, got all the way up to fourth, if I recall correctly, at the end of the first stage. And that was a blast. I just have to say, this is my least favorite racetrack. I hate Richmond. So I don't know if it's the new tire or what, but man, this was so much fun. At least before the track transition tonight, you could run up, a lane or two up to avoid the dirty air. And that was just so much fun. And I cannot stress how much fun I had just driving through the field in that first stage. But yeah, after that, it was just taking care of the tires and trying to nail those pit stops, get off pit road, best I could. And I was a little worried there when Patty got the lead. He was super fast, and thankfully he messed up. But yeah, aside from the 5 car, who's a total zero talent driver, staying out in front of the field on 30-lap old tires and totally screwing Buddy Motorsports over, it was a pretty smooth sailing night. And yeah, glad I was able to hold off Finnegan and keep the clean air and get the job done.
Absolutely. Well, now we head into Daytona, but I gotta know, is this the start of maybe Richmond being one of your favorites?
If it keeps driving like this, then I'm not a big short track guy, but it definitely was a lot more fun than previous times I've been there. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to find a new least favorite track.
Well, look, man, before we get you out of here, who do you want to thank and who helped you get it done here on that 78 car?
Everybody at Buddy Motorsports, with the exception of Matt Everts, was great tonight. A lot of teamwork being done and really clean racing up front and just throughout the field, like always in the Icon Cup Series, which is, why I race this league. It's fun getting those long green flag runs, which not, at a track like this, it can be tricky. It really is. If someone just misses their braking point going into turn 1 or 3 and you tap the guy in front of you, they're going around. So the setup was on edge, on fresh tires, and everybody did a great job, at least from what I could see, of keeping it green, not being stupidly aggressive and just racing with respect. So great job by everyone. Thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. And yeah, glad I was able to get the Michigan Humane Society in victory lane again.
Awesome job. Well, once again, congratulations on winning tonight's race. We look forward to seeing you next week in Daytona.
Sounds good, guys. Can't wait.
Well, there you go, Alan. What a race.
Oh, what a race. I am ready to get out of Richmond, Virginia. I know it's your hometown. You love it here. But, I'm ready to get to Daytona and get the next round or next race of the first round of 16.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk to Ryan Patty, but I'm sure he's ready to get out of town as well. What a big disappointment there for the 30 as he spins out of the lead and has to spend the rest of the night fighting back to get to that finish there. So looks like we got qualifying results. Let me update that. We want the race results. There we go. So Patty recovering to 6th. So our finishing order going to be Brian Smith in 1st, Nathan Finnegan 2nd, Jacob Smith 3rd, John McNeil 4th, Cody Neal 5th, Ryan Patty 6th, Charlie Widener 7th, Mike Taylor 8th, Charles Van Schaik in 9th, Kyle Purcell 10th, Patrick Colby 11th, Kevin Gunther 12th, Bentley Glazer 13th, Sean Purcell 14th, Kyle Diaz in 15th, Anthony Tizio in 16th, Charlie Woods in 17th. Matt Everett's 18th. Hanover Fist in 19th. Adam Ball 20th. Robert Bloom 21st. Jonathan Duncan in 22nd. Cody Eldred 23rd. Jake Champion 24. Brad Delph 25th. Kyle Gilbert 26th. Jeff Dillon 27th. Braxton DeWeese, heartbreak for him involved in that contact with Jacob early on. And then Gladlich. I'm not sure if that counts as being first to the beer stand if you're in the race control booth, but he is going to log a 29th place finish here tonight. Either way. So, again, great race at Richmond. One of my favorite tracks. I think it put on a great show. And then I was really excited to see that green flag finish so that we could really see who was able to save tires and keep their speed up. Any other closing thoughts on tonight's race, Alan?
I mean, what a race. It had everything we saw in here. Action. Action all over the place. I am ready to go super speedway racing. Daytona holds a special place in my heart. No matter where you go, no matter what time of year you go there, it's always huge when you win at Daytona. But nonetheless, it's time to land this jet and get on out of here.
All right. Thanks again for watching on YouTube here with the SRM broadcast of the Icon Cup Series on Sunday nights. We will catch you next Sunday at Daytona.